Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. In this video, we're going into the second lesson of Module 8, Contract Time Administration. We'll be talking about delay analysis methods. In this lesson, we'll first classify delays into different categories, and then apply delay analysis methods to analyze schedule delays or allocate project delay responsibility to the contractor and the owner. Our focus here is on the first objective. The second one will be explored later. Let's now explore the three basic categories of delay and how they relate to time extensions and cost compensation in construction claims. As shown in this table, first, we have non-excusable delays, NE. These are delays that are caused by the contractor, such as poor planning, labor shortages, or equipment failure. Since the contractor is responsible, they are not entitled to either a time extension or additional compensation. In fact, such delays may lead to liquidated damages or penalties depending on the terms of the contract. Next, we have excusable and compensable delays, EC. These are typically caused by the owner, such as late design approvals, change orders, or site access issues. In such cases, the contractor is usually entitled to both a time extension and monetary compensation, as they should not bear the cost of delays outside their control but attributable to the owner. Lastly, we have excusable but non-compensable delays, ENC. These result from causes beyond both the contractor's and the owner's control, such as severe weather or third-party utility strikes. In these cases, the contractor may be granted a time extension, but no cost compensation is provided since neither party is at fault. It's important to correctly classify each delay event, as this is crucial for determining contractual rights and responsibilities, and for resolving disputes fairly and efficiently. Always remember to refer to the contract for the exact definitions of these types of delays. Alright, let's break down some common examples of delay events listed below. Now, we're going to label the following with NE, non-excusable, EC, excusable, compensable, or ENC, excusable, non-compensable. Let's start with non-excusable delays. A very clear example is late performance by suppliers. Even though a contractor may argue that the delay wasn't directly their fault, the responsibility to manage vendors and ensure timely deliveries falls on them. Similarly, faulty workmanship by the contractor or subcontractors is a non-excusable delay. Poor quality work that needs to be redone wastes time and resources, but ultimately, that's on the contractor. Another example is a labor strike caused by the contractor's unwillingness to negotiate or unfair job practices. If the strike is due to mismanagement or mistreatment of workers, the delay cannot be excused. It was preventable and avoidable through proper handling. Now let's move on to excusable delays, where the contractor typically isn't held at fault. Any delays that are not classified as non-excusable are considered excusable. Some of these delays are non-compensable, meaning the contractor may be granted additional time, but not additional money. For example, general labor strikes that impact the entire industry are usually considered excusable but non-compensable. They are outside any single contractor's control. Likewise, delays caused by fires, floods, or other natural disasters, often referred to as acts of God, fall into this category. These events are unpredictable and beyond the control of both parties, so the contractor can get extra time to complete the work but not extra payment. Delays caused by lack of action by government bodies, such as permit approval delays, inspections, or utility hookups, are typically considered excusable but non-compensable. These delays are outside the control of both the contractor and the owner. Since no party is directly at fault, the contractor may be entitled to a time extension, but not to cost compensation. The same goes for intervention by outside agencies, which refers to delays caused by third-party entities such as regulatory authorities, environmental agencies, or law enforcement. It is usually considered an excusable but non-compensable delay. Alright, the remaining are examples of some excusable delays that are compensable, which means the contractor is entitled to both a time extension and cost reimbursement. These typically result from actions or inactions by the owner. For instance, if the owner makes changes to the project that add work or modify the original scope, especially when it impacts the schedule, that kind of change is considered an excusable and compensable delay. In such cases, the contractor should not only get more time, but also be compensated for the additional effort and resources needed. Errors and omissions in the plans and specifications also fall into this category. If the contractor discovers flaws or missing details in the design that require clarification or redesign, the resulting delay is not their fault. Another common issue is differing or concealed site conditions. Maybe the soil isn't what the geotechnical report suggested, or underground structures were hidden. In cases like these, the contractor couldn't have known in advance, so the delay is considered excusable. In summary, non-excusable delays are generally tied to the contractor's own performance, planning, or management. Excusable delays are caused by factors outside the contractor's control. and knowing the difference is critical when it comes to requesting time extensions or defending against delay claims. Again, always refer to the contract for the exact terms. Alright, now let's talk about concurrent delays. This happens when two or more delays from different causes occur at the same time. These could be delays caused simultaneously by both the contractor and the owner. In most cases, contracts will give the contractor extra time to finish the project because of these delays, but they typically won't get extra money to cover the costs. Let me give you a few examples to help clarify. Imagine the owner is delayed in approving some important design changes. At the same time, the contractor runs into delays because of labor shortages or equipment issues. In this case, the contractor might get extra time to finish, but they won't get paid extra because both the owner and the contractor are at fault for the delay. So, why no compensation? Well, even if one delay is clearly the owner's fault, if there's also a contractor delay happening at the same time, then the contractor event would have happened regardless of the owner's delay. So, even though the owner might be at fault for one part of the delay, the contractor event means the overall project delay could have occurred anyway. As a result, the contractor doesn't get compensated for the time extension. Here's another example. Let's say the project is delayed because of bad weather. Maybe there's a storm or heavy rain, but at the same time, the contractor is also delayed due to equipment failure. The contractor would get a time extension for the weather, but they wouldn't get compensation for the equipment breakdown because weather-related delays are excusable, but the contractor is still responsible for their own issues. Or, in another scenario, let's say the owner and a third-party cause delays at the same time. The owner is late in making approvals, but at the same time, the local government causes delays due to a permit issue or a regulatory holdup. In this case, we have concurrent delays from the owner and the third party. The contractor might receive additional time because both delays are out of their control, but compensation will still likely be denied as the third-party event could have delayed the project anyway. Concurrent delays are a tricky part of schedule delay analysis, so make sure you do not overlook such situations. Now let's talk about critical documentations required when you're dealing with project delays. If you've ever been part of a construction project, or really any large project, you know that delays happen. Sometimes it's weather, sometimes it's late approvals, other times it's just poor planning. But when it comes time to figure out what caused the delay and who's responsible, you need to have the right documents to back up your analysis. There are three main types of documentation that are critical for proper delay analysis. First, the as-planned schedule. This is your approved baseline schedule, the one that was created at the start of the project. It shows the plan, what activities need to be done, in what order, and by when. Now, when delays happen, we need to go back and look at this schedule to see what the plan was in the first place, so we can measure the gap between what was supposed to happen and what actually happened. Second, the as-built schedule. Now this one is super important. The as-built schedule shows what really happened. It captures the actual start and finish dates, activity durations, changes to the sequence, and so on. With this, we can find when things started slipping, which tasks fell behind first, did that delay impact the critical path. Other supporting documents may also be needed. Beyond the schedules, there are a bunch of other documents that help you fill in the story. For example, daily reports. These are like the daily diaries of the project. They tell us what happened each day, who was on site, what work got done, what equipment was used, and any issues that came up. They are really helpful for spotting patterns or disruptions. Meeting minutes are also important as these capture what was discussed in meetings. Decisions, concerns, follow-ups. If a delay was discussed in a meeting, it's probably in the minutes. This can be very valuable evidence. Inspection reports can reveal delay causes when there's rework or when work is delayed due to quality issues. If work was rejected and had to be redone, inspection reports will usually tell us that. Finally, memos. These are written communications, formal or informal, that can show things like changes, clarifications, or instructions. Sometimes a single memo can prove a major shift in the project plan. The bottom line is this: if you want to do a solid delay analysis, you need good documentation. Not just one schedule at the end of the job, but a trail of evidence throughout the project. Keep your documents up to date. Organize them well. And most importantly, don't wait until there's a problem to start paying attention to your paperwork. Because when it's time to explain a delay or defend against a claim, your documents are your best friend. When analyzing project delays, there are several common schedule delay analysis methods used to understand the causes and impacts. First, the impacted as-planned method takes the original plan and inserts delays to see how the schedule would have been affected. On the flip side, the collapsed as-built method starts with the actual completed schedule and removes delays to estimate how the project would have finished without them. Finally, window analysis breaks the schedule into smaller time periods, or windows, and examines how the critical path and delays evolve window by window. This method is especially useful for projects with concurrent delays. Among all these, Window analysis is often seen as the most accurate and reliable, and it's the method most commonly accepted by courts and dispute boards, especially for large, complex projects. It provides a balanced view by showing how delays evolved over time, not just at the start or end. Alright, that's it for this video. We covered delay categories, key documents for delay analysis, and the names of popular analysis methods. Goodbye for now, and we'll see you in the next video.